everybody, and welcome back to Wednesday Live here on the Victoria Marie YouTube channel. I'm Victoria. So glad that you are here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is for you right now. Hello, I'm so glad that you're joining me today. We're going to hang out for just a second, and I'm going to put myself together here. Hang out for just a second. And yeah, here we go. Another live. Working with a cut file today. So if you like cut files, then stay tuned. I've got a really fun cut file from the Cut Shoppe that I want to share with you today. That's all about books and reading and all that good stuff. So if you like that type of thing, then stay tuned, because we're going to work with a cut file. I already have it cut for the sake of time today, but I am going to back the cut file with some pattern paper from my stash. So I'm using a new cut file, but I'm using stash items from my stash, because I know you guys like that type of thing. Hello, drop a little hello and how you doing in the chat section. And if you enjoy today's live stream, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you're new around here, or even if you've just been lurking around watching videos and you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to do that. Subscribe, click the bell, that way you'll know that whenever I go live and post new content. I've got lots of new things coming your way. This past week has been hectic. And then I worked all weekend because I hosted the Victoria Marie virtual crop, the January one, which we had a lot of fun. So if you attended that virtually, we had a lot of fun. Thank you so much. And I took the past 2 days off. Usually I try to take a couple of days off after I host a crop weekend, but they weren't like really off. Like I still had, parental duties and all that good stuff. So I'm like easing back into the work week. Lots of things coming down and planning for next month. Because if you believe it or not, February is right around the door. So it just seems to just be, it starts and then it keeps picking up. Hello, everybody. So glad you're here. It is 2 p.m. already, Deborah. Welcome, welcome. Hello. Stephanie says snowy for sure in lower Michigan. Wow. I know there's parts that are getting snow here in the U.S. Oklahoma has gotten some snow from what I understand. I don't think Texas is getting anything today. I'll be surprised if we get any snow this season whatsoever. Hey, Elizabeth, how are you? And Diane and Gemma, hi guys, so glad that you're here. Oh, we're gonna have a fun time. Hey Suze, what's going on? So cut files, electronic cut files. I love using cut files. I've been using cut files for a very, very long time. And my process for using cut files is really simple. I tend to just upload them to my cutting software for whatever machine that I'm using at the time, and I just cut them out the way that they're designed. I usually don't manipulate my cut files in any way. Some people do. They like to add things, take away things, kind of change it up. But typically, if I'm going to use a cut file, I'm using it because I like the way it's designed. I did use my Cricut Explorer Air 2 to cut out my cut file. I'm going to show you that here in just a second. I am going to back the cut file. I'm not going to back all of it. I'm going to back some of it, but I'm also going to talk about some ways in which you can use a cut file on your design. Because a lot of people ask, or a lot of people will say, well, I like a cut file, but I'm not sure I want to back it with powder paper, because that takes a long time, sometimes depending on how intricate the cut file is. You can find this particular cut file at the Cut Shoppe. I did post a link down below. In fact, actually, let me pull up the cut file that I'm going to be working with. It's from the Cut Shoppe, and I am on the design team for the Cut Shoppe. The design team, basically, we make one project a month and we post it on Instagram. So I don't have any obligation to do a video or anything like that. I just love the Cut Shoppe products, and I've used it before. And the owner of the Cut Shoppe is Ashley Horton, and she, let me pull this up real quick, has owned the Cut Shoppe for quite some time. She took kind of a break, came back, and now we've got all these beautiful cut files available at a very, very low cost, super, super affordable, and lots of fun to use. She has the most fantastic cut files. And so if you follow the Cut Shoppe on Instagram, you'll get to see designs that I make and my fellow team members make throughout the month. I try, to be honest with you, I had kind of made this hard fast rule where I wasn't going to join any more design teams, but I really wanted to use more cut files and kind of, make sure, I think anything is just kind of making sure that I'm using my Cricut machine on a regular basis, which I do anyway. But I really love Ashley's designs. And one of the things that I want to challenge myself to do is to resize them so they can fit in like my traveler's notebook projects and that type of thing. I've been creatively inspired. So I'm like, why not? So I post a project once or twice a month on Instagram. So if you aren't following us on Instagram, The Cut Shop, or follow me on Instagram at Victoria Marie Scraps, you can see some creative inspiration for the cut file. So let me actually show you what I'm going to be working on today, or the cut file. So here's the cut file. It's called Booked for the Weekend. I'm just trying to see if it'll expand the photo. I don't think it will. Usually when you click on it, you can expand the photo, but this is the cut file that I'm using. And so it has text around the center image. So I'm booked for the weekend, and you can cut these, or when you do cut it, you will have a negative space in between all the letters that you can back with pattern paper. Depending on your machine and how versed you are in the settings, I think you can also just make these a solid cut, so with like an outline of the letter if you want to. And then there's also a coffee cup, which also cuts the outline of the cup. The books that are stacked here, which you can also back with pattern paper and whatnot. So lots of different ways that you can work with cut files. I like to keep my process really, really simple. And that is by using the cut file the way that it is designed, and then backing it with some pattern paper. Sometimes I'll back the entire cut file with pattern paper. Sometimes I'll create a mixed media background, like with watercolor or something like that, and then I'll mount my cut file on the background, which looks really cool. You can also adhere your cut file to a solid piece of cardstock, and you can color in the spaces of your cut file, and you can actually use mixed media and stuff on the cut file itself. So I've seen people, and myself included, paint or color our cut file in some way. You can also cut it out in pattern paper. Now, the thing about cut files is that you do need an electronic cutting machine to read the file and to ultimately cut it. Some people, depending on the design, will print a PDF copy if it's available, the cut file, and they'll fussy cut or they'll trim out the cut file. There's also cut files that you can purchase that are already cut for you, and there's some companies that do that. A quick Google search, you can find some companies that have cut files that are already cut, and so you buy them and they send them to you already cut and you're ready to go. Bella Boulevard is an example of that. They do have cut files that they have with certain kits and collections that they sell. That's one example where it's already cut for you, so you don't need an electronic cutting machine. So you can use a Cricut, you can use a Silhouette, a Brother Scan and Cut, whatever electronic cut file that you have. As long as it can read the file extension of the cut file that you're using, you are good to go. So let me know if you've ever heard of the Cut Shop, or if you use cut files, regardless of where you get them. Do you use cut files? Do you design your own cut files? Let me know in the chat, and we are going to get ready to have some fun. So let me get back into my Deal Bob. I have no announcements for you guys today. Just a bunch of creating. Just a bunch of creating. Welcome to everybody who's just joined us. First actual live, says Kathy. Snowed in, so didn't have to go to work. Well, hey, you got a snow day at home. That is awesome. Just found the Cut Shop. Love their cut files. By the way, not only does she have cut files, but she also creates printables as well, digital printables. So if you enjoy using printables on your projects, make sure you check that out. In fact, I'm trying to see if I have a project nearby where I use some of the printables. Hang out just a second, because I did use them. What did I do with that layout? I don't know. Oh, I know what I did with it. Is it in here? Yes. Okay. So I'm doing this thing where I make a layout and put it in my album. Ever heard of that? That's what I'm doing these days. I make an album and I make a layout and put it in my album.
You ever had a dream when you
Are you making fun of me? My kid is sitting across from me making fun of me. Alrighty. So let's see. Here we go. So this is a layout that I created. And I can't remember if I made this live or I filmed it. I can't remember. But this was my annual layout, my annual New Year's layout. And I used part of the January, the Cut Shop. I think it's called, oh goodness, what is it called? The collection. I'm trying to remember. It is called Document 365. Why could I not remember that? Document 365, where she has a set of digital printables that you can use. And so what I did was I printed and cut some of the printables from that collection to make this layout, including this 3x4 pocket card, and then I paired it with some items from my stash. So I am making it my goal that as soon as I finish a layout, it goes right in the album. And I put the date on it, so there's that. And so I use, here's a little bit of that. This little section right here is from, I'm sorry. This little half circle, Party Like It's 2023, that was from the digital cut file as well. This tag, this 3x4 pocket card, I added some journaling to this off camera, and then this little piece, and then this piece too. So it's great to be able to pair your digital cutouts or your digital files with your regular physical stash if you want to. If you are a digital scrapbooker or hybrid scrapbooker, then you do have file extensions available to you through the Cut Shoppe. She designs them in both PNG, SVG, there's PDF, I believe there's another cut file extension as well. So you can use them as a digital if you want to, if you do digital scrapbooking or hybrid. I am usually all physical, sometimes hybrid. It just kind of depends on how I'm feeling, but I don't usually play in the hybrid land that much, but I will use printables. Okay, so this is just an example of some of the printables that she has available. But we're going to be working with her cut file today, and it is called, of course, I keep knocking things off. I am booked for the weekend. And what I like to do when I'm working with product, one of the things I'm focusing on a lot this year is making sure that I'm using items from my stash. Now, I already cut this using my Cricut Explorer Air 2. You can use your Silhouette, whatever electronic cutting machine that you have, as long as it can read the file extensions for the cut file that you're using. And I cut this out of blue pattern paper. It's kind of like a greenish blue sort of pattern paper. I really like it, kind of a mint green. And I wanted to pair this with items from my stash. Now, I don't have a whole bunch of scrapbooking supplies that are about reading per se, but I thought that I would just pull some things that just kind of color coordinated with some of the pattern paper that I pulled. And maybe there's some themes about home. Maybe there's stuff like coffee and tea, or it's something, loosely related to that. Okay. Who are you? You actually put your finished layout in a book. You know what, Natalie? I'm reformed. I am reformed. I have a bunch of layouts that are sitting in my craft closet right now that are all in bins, and they're going to go in albums this year, but I am reforming my ways. I've never used a cut file, but want to learn. I have a Cricut, very easy to learn for sure. I've used cut files, have heard of the Cut Shoppe, just forgot all about it. Yeah, she's back at it. Printables are awesome. Yep. Yes, I use cut files. Don't make my own, but I do cut them out. I think the best way to work with cut files, guys, is as you're planning your projects, and if you plan to use a cut file, is to go ahead and cut your cut files. And some people do. Some people will cut their cut files and they store them so that when they're ready to work on a project, they just pull out the cut file that they want to use, versus waiting to cut the cut file when you're getting ready to do a project. And particularly if you have a space where you can't keep your cutting machine out all the time, say if you're a kitchen table scrapper or you just have a small, space where you create, when you have that machine out, get as much utility from it as you can by cutting all your cut files out. Okay, so this cut file is 99 cents, super affordable. There are some cut files that are free, by the way, so it just depends on who you're shopping with. So what I did was I went into my stash. I don't have anything new here that I'm using. And I grabbed some pattern papers, and these are from, I think this might be a mix of, or it might all be from the same designer. I think this is all from Jen Hadfield. Yeah, I think these are all Jen Hadfield papers. I love her papers, her designs so much. So this was from the Reaching Out collection, really pretty. And I just selected some things that I will use to back the books. I'm not going to back the letters. I'm going to keep those open. Here's another pretty one. I love this. This kind of looks like it'd be a pretty wallpaper. And yeah, love this design. That's so pretty. That's kind of a peach. The Cut Shoppe is an online store that you can buy cut files and printables. The link is posted in the description. Here's another paper that I picked. Now I'm not going to use all of these. Look at those little ladybugs. Isn't that cute? That's adorable. You can even fussy cut those out. And then these two pattern papers here, the nice gingham. I actually chose a couple of gingham options. This pattern paper with the dark background, that's just one-sided. This came out of a project pad for Jen Hadfield. And then the others are just two-sided papers. I love the little scooters. Look at that. That's adorable. Against a gray background. So these are the pattern papers that I selected. And what I want to do for this particular design is I'm going to use one of these as to frame out my layout, okay? And then I'm going to actually put the cut file against white cardstock. But what I want to do is fill in the coffee cup and then the books here. The books also have this decorative element that you can inlay right inside of the book, which is great. And this will cut along with the rest of the cut file. So you can use those. I also just kept some of the cuts on the mat. So when I cut this out from my Cricut, I still have the centers of these flowers that I just left on the mat. So I think what I'll do is I will back this particular book with the pattern paper, and then I will add these little flowers on there. I also kept the letters just in case I thought I might want to use them as a template, and back these with pattern paper, but I'm not going to do that because backing things with pattern paper takes time. And I kind of like the idea of having those letters open with the white showing against it. Now, again, you can back this with pattern paper if you want to, or you can paint a background and have a nice little painty sort of background in the back of your cut file. You can lay this down, flatten it, adhere it, and then color inside your cut file if you want to. There's lots of different ways that you can do this. Hey, Victoria. Love the scooter paper. I know, the scooter paper is so cute. So cute. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this done. I think what I want to do... Oh, let me show you the rest of the stuff real quick. I forgot to show you the rest of the things. So pattern paper... cut file. I pulled from my stash these fabric butterflies from the Hip Kit Club. I might use a couple of those on there. I love these little fabric butterflies. I also have some die cuts from Pinkfresh Studio. This was from the best day. And some of these things I don't know are still available. So I just posted links to the companies in the description. So if you're interested in any of this, then you can go and check out to see what they currently have available. This is also from, actually this is from the Hip Kit Club kit. I don't remember what kit this one was from. But this was from sometime last year. So I just pulled out some things with some general elements about books, reading, at home, comfort. I pulled out some floral bits and pieces. This is from Pinkfresh Studio. Some more Pinkfresh Studio. I like Pinkfresh Studio's designs. They're very clean and contemporary and tend to have some general icons that work well with this type of project. And I don't have to embellish a whole lot because this cut file is going to do a lot of the work for me. I got some more Pinkfresh. I think I just pulled all the Pinkfresh. Hey, Belinda. Hello from Texas, she says. Hello, fellow Texan. I also pulled out some chipboard circles. These are chipboard flare, rather. And I've had these in my stash for a while. This is from Pinkfresh Studio as well. This is from 2001. And then I have some wood veneer numbers. And I can't remember why I pulled this out. I need to go back and figure out, why did I pull that out? I was going to put something on this layout that referenced numbers, but now I can't remember. Oh, I know what it is. It's going to be the number of books that my book goal for the year, which I'll talk about here in a second. Then I also pulled out some Jen Hadfield stickers that I had in my stash that, of course, all coordinates very well with the pattern papers. Okay, so we've got die cuts, flowers, chipboard, stickers. So let's get into it. And of course, we have our cut file. So I think what I want to do, I'm trying to remember which one of these papers is going to be my background paper. And I planned this layout actually a couple of weeks ago. So bear with me. I think it's going to be this blue one here. So I like that. And I was going to trim this down. And this cut file, I made it slightly smaller. So it's a little bit less than 12 by 12. I think I was going to do the blue, I believe. Or was I going to do yellow? Now I can't remember which one I was going to do. I think I'm going to do blue for the background. And the pictures I will be using I have this photo of myself, which I think I may have scrapbooked a couple times already, but that's okay. This is going to go in my album of me. So here's a 3x4 photo that I'm going to be scrapbooking. I took this shortly after Christmas, actually after the New Year. I have a t-shirt with DW from Arthur that says, "Do you even read?" And I'm holding one of my coffee tumblers. Then I also took a book of the 2 books that I read the first couple of weeks in January. I read The Midnight Library, which I thought was really, really good. And then the banned bookshop of Maggie Banks. Very, very good book. And so what I want to do is, because I don't have a ton of space for photos here, I'm going to probably put this photo and maybe, I'm not sure yet. I might tuck it here. I'm not sure where I'm going to put that just yet. I might put it here. And then this photo is going to go like something like that. I'm trying not to cover up my books too much. Or I might put it here. Something like that. And then I might do a little bit of journaling here. Like, my goal this year is to read. So my goal this year is to read 50 books. That's my book goal. I didn't voraciously read last year. I normally read a lot of books every year. Last year was not a reading year for me at all. So I read about 10 books last year. So this year my goal is 50 books. Let me know if you have a reading goal in the chat. If you're a reader, it doesn't matter what you read, whether it's a physical book or, you read on your e-reader or you listen to books. How many books do you plan on reading this year if you have a reading goal? Alrighty. So that's kind of how I think I want the photos to go. So we'll go ahead and get the background situated. Let me get my cutter, my paper trimmer. And we are going to, nope, I did not trim that down. So we're going to trim this down to 11 by 11 inches. Here we go. Let me know, do you have a reading goal this year? Is your goal simply just to read more and you don't have a specific number of books that you want to read? Is your goal to read a certain number? I need to, oops, this one. There we go. There we go. Let's see, someone has a goal of 12, and we got a goal of 52. 23 in 23. 100 books. Awesome. Read 21 last year. My goal is 30. That's fantastic. Hey, Kathy. She said her goal is 60 books. 33 books last year. Goal is 15 this year. That's awesome. 35 books. Love reading but don't have a goal. Deborah says read more. Just finished. Is that Black Cake? Awesome book. Is to read 3 to 4 a month. That's awesome. That's awesome. We all have such really good reading goals. And sometimes it's just, pick up a book. I think I want to do this part again. Let me see. I think I may have cut that a little bit smaller than what I wanted. Hey, Kristen, so glad you can join us, friend. I hope you're well. I'm going to redo this to 11 and a half, I think. Really had a hard time reading last year, too. Normally read 100 to 300 books. Last year was 10. Yeah, some years are more prolific reading than others. Like, I just could not really get into it last year. Colleen Hoover books lately, yeah. If you have a book suggestion, pop it in the chat, because I think someone asked earlier if you have any good book suggestions. And yeah, we can have a little book club. All right, we'll just make a little virtual book club. Okay, I think what I want to do, because I love this paper so much, is let's get that middle to preserve it, because I think I might want to use some of that middle part. Yeah, pop your book suggestions in the chat. My book recommendation is anything by Abby Waxman. Anything. I've read all of her books. I started with The Bookish Life of Nina Hill. And she's just super fun, super relatable. She makes me laugh. It's just such fun reads. And I plan to revisit her books this summer because I just absolutely love them. And I was totally fangirling because we follow each other on Instagram. I'm like, oh my God, Abby Waxman followed me on Instagram. I love Abby Waxman. Love to read. Never set a yearly goal. Scared to put that much pressure on myself. Yeah. Don't put any pressure on yourself at all. No certain goal. Read and listen to audiobooks. A friend is an author. Oh, cool. So read every book she puts out. That's awesome. Make sure you drop your friend's name in the chat there, Jane. We'd love to check out her books. Okay. Lane Moriarty. Yeah, she gets my vote too. She writes great stuff. Just finished Spare by Prince Harry. Sorry, I want to read that too. I might listen to that one. I don't usually listen to audiobooks, but I might listen to that one. Oh, Kristen. Well, thank you for sharing that. We wish you all the best health as possible. And the strength to get through it, my friend. I hope you're in good spirits. You will get through it. Sending you all my love. Barbara at 34 last year. Her goal is 40. Yes, huge hugs to Kristen. Absolutely. Make sure you're checking out the book recs too. Some folks are posting some interesting titles there. You can craft while you get your next book recommendation. Yeah, I do too. I check celebrities and politician. But actually, I lie. I only check Barack Obama's book list because he tends to have some pretty good ones. Plus, I silently have a crush on Barack Obama. All right. So as I mentioned, I'm just going to leave the words just the way they are. Okay? You could back them, but sometimes I'm what's called lazy, and I don't want to back all of these letters. Some people do. I'm not doing it. I'm just going to back these little elements here. So what I'm going to do is I kept the other cuts here on my mat. Let me move my plastic out the way. And here's the little cut for the little cup. So I want to make sure that it goes the right way. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to do a quick little tracey trace. I decided I'm going to use this yellow gingham for one part of my cup. And I'm just going to do a little light penciling. I could do it on the back and kind of like reverse. If I don't want the pencil mark, I could just flip my pattern paper over, flip the cut over, and then trace it. So I could do that too, but I can erase the pencil mark, so it's not like a huge deal. And then let's fussy cut. And what I'm going to do, I don't know if you can see that the pencil line, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a little bit outside the pencil line because you need paper that's going to glue to the thin outline of the cut. All right. So I'm just going to cut this out real quick. There are some people who do some amazing cut file stuff. Paige Evans comes to mind for me. She is always working on cut files. She designs cut files. She has for quite some time. She has a shop as well on Etsy. You can find her. And Scrapbooking Cards Today also features her cut files too. In fact, I just worked with one for a project that I did with them recently. It was a winter themed layout. And she will stitch on her cut files. She backs all the elements with pattern paper. She does other fun things with it. She just really goes to town. And then they come out just looking fabulous. All right, so this, I'm just going to kind of paper piece right in here. And that's going to look really super cute. So the way I'm going to adhere this is I'm going to use some liquid glue. And my glue choice is Barely Art. And I need to order some more because I keep forgetting. Yeah, drop your book recs in the chat. What is also, too, let me know. Are you somebody who whenever I read a book, I've got to have tea and my cookies. I have to have a little snack, a little tea, a little coffee. Let me know. Are you a snacker while you read? Do you like to have a glass of wine? Favorite cup of beer, a mug of coffee? What do you like? What do you enjoy when you're reading? I usually will have, come on, glue. I love my sugar cookies with some green tea, or any tea really. English breakfast is my favorite, one of my favorite teas, and I love green tea. So if you have any tea or coffee or drink suggestions, let us know. I could talk about books, coffee, and tea all day. Like, if I could get paid just to do that, I would drink tea and read books and review books or something. That would be awesome. That'd be a really cool job, wouldn't it? Okay, I'm having problems with this specific glue, and I'm not quite sure. Usually it doesn't clog, so I'm not sure why my Barely Art is clogging today. A man called Ove. Is it Ove or Ove? O-V-E. I can't remember how to pronounce it. I heard it on a podcast I was listening to, and now I can't remember how to pronounce the name. Wonderful book. A Man Called Otto by the movie A Man Called Otto with Tom Hanks. Yes, I remember that for sure. Unexpectedly uplifting. Anything by Jenny Colling. Yeah, same here. I love her books too. Finish your first audiobook on YouTube. You don't eat or drink while reading. Some people don't. I often get crumbs in my bed, but I get them out. I sweep off the crumbs. Winter cozied up with a hot beverage. Summer iced tea. Yes. Yes. An adult beverage outside on the deck. Diane, you and I are sisters in spirit. We are sisters from another mister. Yes. I love sweet tea in the summertime. Such a southern thing. Any books, Belinda, any books. They all count. I know some people are kind of book snobs. Like they're like, oh, well, you listen to the book, that's not really counting as reading. It all counts. Reading is reading is reading. It all counts. Some people cannot read a physical book for whatever reason. Maybe it doesn't hold their attention. Maybe there is a physical reason why they can't. Maybe that it's just easier and quicker to get through an audiobook, right? Okay, so now I'm going to cut the next part of the mug using this pattern paper, and that's going to go right here. And I'm thinking I might do just like some brown pattern paper here, or maybe either brown pattern paper or solid, to go here inside the cup to kind of look like coffee or tea or something like that. Yeah, I think that would be good on audio too. I read in the tub. I sure do. I love reading in the tub. That's my favorite place to read. Right in the tub. In the tubby. I love it. Can get you one of those little bath trays and prop your book up. My books have gotten a little damp over the years, but I'm okay with that. I've dropped a book in the tub one time, but it's okay. You just let it dry out and you keep going on with your life. I love reading in the tub. Nice bubble bath. Got my drink. In fact, I just did that recently. I had a cup of wine, glass of wine, and my book. Ah, luxury. Yeah. Hey, Melissa. Never late, my friend. Never late. Okay, so then I'm going to put that there. Oh, that looks cute. That looks cute. Okay, so because I'm tracing this with pencil, I'm going to go ahead and erase those pencil marks really, really gently. Now, here's the thing. If you've never worked with a cut file, then you're probably thinking, wow, this looks like it'll take forever to back. This is one of those projects that you do have to be a little bit more patient with if you want to back each and every element. You could grab yourself an interesting pattern paper, and depending on the design of your cut file, you can just lay that right off a pattern paper. I cut mine in blue, so you can't really see it. This is not a really good example of this. But depending on the style and the design, sometimes I just anchor that cut file right on an interesting piece of pattern paper and then cut around it or cut out the parts that I don't want. Again, you can lay this against some solid cardstock and color it in. I mean, there's lots of different things that you can do with your cut files. And if you want to add some texture, you can do some stitching. You can do all kinds of fun things with your cut files. It adds that beautiful decorative element and does a lot of work for your project. So you don't have to feel like you have to embellish a whole lot after you kind of get your cut file going. Okay, that's a cute, see, I would like that in a real like mug form. Isn't that pretty? So there's that. Now I want to do something here like a little mocha or some sort. We'll get there. We'll get there. I also have a handle, and I kept that piece, I think. If not, I will finagle it. I think, did I keep that piece? Oh, here it is. It's right here. Right here. So, it's a little tiny little squidgy of a piece that goes right in here. And normally I don't really work with something that teeny tiny, but I think what I'm going to do, let me see, is there any other, I think I want to do it like an orange. I don't mind it. I don't mind working super teeny tiny. I make miniatures, so why not? I could just take a piece and just back that if I want to without trying to trace out this little tiny piece, but we're going to make this one work. Just a rough little bit here. Your cut files can be as intricate as you want. Also, I'm using 12 by 12 paper. I highly recommend, if you have it, to use 6 by 6 or 6 by 8 pattern papers, because the pattern is smaller and you don't have to just cut little chunks into your 12 by 12 paper. Now, I'm going to use this paper. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Like, this paper will be used. But smaller patterns that are offered on a 6 by 8 or 6 by 6 pattern paper works perfectly for backing cut files for doing this type of design. Okay. So this is going to go, got the handle like that. So I'm going to erase that pencil mark. And what I also need to make sure that I'm watching out for, because I'm not being careful, is I don't want to, let me grab something else here. I don't want to get glue all over my background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little silicone mat. And this is from We Are Memory Keepers. And I like using this when I'm working with glue. So we're going to keep that there. Move that to the side while we're still working on these pieces here. Oh, I'm on Goodreads. I'm Victoria Calvin on Goodreads. Come find me. Let's be friends. Let's be book buds. Corinne is sitting right across from me. What is your book goal this year, sweetie?
50.
Corinne's goal is to read 50. She'll probably do that in like a day. The kid is just a voracious reader. Yeah, audio book's good while you're doing other things too. Yeah. I don't often listen to audiobooks because sometimes I don't like the voice of the narrators that are chosen for the books. Unless it's the person who wrote the book. I was trying to listen to one book not too long ago, and it was not, I don't know, I didn't really like the narrator's voice all that much. Okay. All right, so now we've got our little handle. So that's cute. That's a cutie pootie. All right. The cool thing about cut files is you can back them as much or as little as you want. I am really thinking that I want this pattern paper here, I think. Or, let's see, maybe brighten that up a little bit. This, because it also has, let me grab it, this flourish that'll go right in the center of that. So I think I'll do that. Okay. So that piece, let's see, I think was, I'm going to my little mat here. Lots of good book recs on Goodreads. I think that piece went there, so I'll use that as my guide. Some people eyeball these pieces on their cut file. Sometimes I do that. I'll just, you know, put a little piece behind the little open spot, trim around it, do my thing. Sometimes I'll just use the extra pieces that go inside of the open spaces of the cut file and then trace around them really rough. Okay. And then fussy cut these out. All right. And the cool thing about this is you can use your scraps. You don't have to use brand new pattern paper. The pattern paper I'm using is what's left over from a lot of pattern paper that I received almost 2 years ago when I was on the American Crafts design team. And they send you a lot of stuff. And so I got rid of probably half of what I was sent. I donated it because you can't sell it, nor would I sell it. And I only kept a small stash. So I'm slowly working my way through it. Yeah. All right. So let's just do that. And I'm just using my surface sweep to get off the pencil erasing marks. I try to be a little gentle with this because I don't want to erase the pattern off. Okay. And then this will go like that. Trying to decide before I commit to that, at least in the order of where I want this pattern to be. And then I'll have some pattern paper that'll go on the ends here. I like that. And then this element will come in like this. Then I think the next pattern I'm going to do is this pattern here because I really love it. And then I think I'll finish it out with this orange here. And it'll be this little flourish that'll go in the center of that. I think that's what I'll do. So there's that piece. And what did I do with this piece here? Now I don't know what happened to it. Oh, is it this one? Nope, that's that one. I don't think I kept it. That's okay. So what we're gonna do then, nope, it's right here. Durr. I did keep it. I know I kept it, it was right over here. This center piece here, I'm gonna go ahead and trace out. Here on this pattern paper. Great scrap buster for sure. Because I know we all have scraps hanging around, right? We all do. that out. And again, I'm just leaving an edge around here. Now, if I were to do this for every single letter that's on here, I'd be here all day. I'm not trying to do that. It's not a part of my design plan for this layout. I only have so much patience. Like, I love cut files, but I only have so much patience. And there are some projects that take a while to back. If that's what you want to do. Again, you don't have to, but if you want to, totally can. All right. So this will come here. I kind of think, let's see. So I'm just trying to plan this out here. So there's that. And I don't even have to use that. I could just, you know, not have that at all there if I don't want. Okay, so I think I like that. And then this piece here, I kind of want to repeat the yellow. Like, I thought I was going to put the orange, but I think I kind of want to repeat that yellow gingham. I think that'll keep it bright. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I really like that. So these could be all different patterns. These can be just 1 to 2 to 3 pattern if you want to. I usually like to stick with 3 patterns for the most part. There we go. If you're someone who uses cut files, let me know, who do you like getting your cut files from, or whose cut files do you enjoy using? Particular company, particular designer. I'm gonna trim this out. Next week, I will be working on one of my whips, my work in progress projects, and I haven't decided if that's going to be my Disney mini that I've been working on for my solo trip to Epcot, or one of my other travel whips that I have that I want to start to work on. So it might be Disney, because that one, I've been going pretty good on that one. And I want to try to get it done. And then slowly continuing to work on December daily. So you'll see that pop up at some point again in the future. But working on that. Okay. I think half the fun of doing this is just picking out papers. Yeah, I'm glad I did that. That's cute. Okay, so I think that's the order that I want it to go in. I think half the fun is picking out the papers, coordinating the papers, and then of course seeing it all come together. All right, so I'm done with my mat, and I'm just going to leave this here just for now. And I've got the elements that I want to use. This one I'm not, so I'm just going to leave that there and cover that up with my plastic. And set that to the side. And I'll take all of these off later once I'm done with the project. So I don't want to get rid of any of those parts just in case I want to use any bit of it. Alrighty, so now I'm ready to finish up the gluing. Let me put my little tools away here. So I got to keep it organized. Y'all know how I roll. Okay, gotta keep it organized. Let's move these to the side. This piece here. We'll add some glue to the back. Then I also have these kind of end portions that I need to figure out what I want to do with that here. So we'll get there in just a second. That might be some pattern paper, a different pattern. I'm using the silicone mat because it's easy to clean glue off of. I usually use it when I'm using hot glue, also liquid glue. So that way I'm not getting, whoops, wrong one. I'm not getting glue stuck to my desk. I try to preserve my work surfaces as much as I possibly can. Let's move that down. So there's that one. And then if I cut it a little bit too thin, which I think I may have done that with this, I can take some washi tape or some low tack tape and just make sure that it's not coming off. All right. Now we've got this floral one that we're going to put on here. Just using the B side of that, which I love. It makes coordinating papers a lot more fun and a lot easier. I'm all about the ease, baby. Make it easy. Paige Evans, a cut to you by Gwen. Paige, yep, lots of Paige fans. Scrapbooking cards today, Paige. Yeah. Absolutely. And let's stick that one here. That's cute. Okay. There's some really cute cut file designs. Like if you want to make it, if you can dream it, it's out there. Very talented folks. You can find a lot of folks on Etsy. And then some of these files can be used for other projects. Totes, t-shirts, mugs, all kinds of stuff. So if you are into different types of crafting, you like working with vinyl and that type of thing, then cut files should be right up your alley. All right, so there we go. That's cute. That's real cute. So I'm done with that. Let's bring over our background. Really nice. Oh, that's adorable. Okay, now we have these little flourishes here that I can use to decorate this cut file. This was also a double-sided, double-sided solid cardstock from Felicity Jane. And so on the back is a slightly different blue color that I can use, but it also coordinates with the blue in the kit. So I think I might just use that side. I think I might do that just to add a little bit of interest. And so with that, my cut file is backed. And again, I'm not doing the letters because I'm not filling that. And I wasn't filling it when I cut this cut file. I'm just going to leave the letters as they are. If I didn't want to cut them with pattern paper, I could cut it with glitter paper, with vellum. Any other substrate would work fine there. So that goes in there. And then we'll get these two little ends here in just a second. You can't really tell, I don't think, the difference between, well, maybe you can tell the difference between the blue. Yeah, so I decided to use the kind of the less green side of this cut. Just using a little bit of Bearly Art. There we go. And I could have used a darker color if I really wanted it to stand out, but that's cute too. And we're going to fill these little ends here. So I think what I want to do is bring this bit in. And I might still, I do have it on my little sheet. See, this is why I don't throw it away. This little end here that goes there. Yeah. Let's use this, actually, because that's going to be gingham on gingham. Let's do, what are my options? What are my options? We've already used the yellow. That print's a little bit large. I'm not sure if I want to introduce black, like a dark background into the mix. I don't know. Maybe that would look interesting. Let me get some scissors. Just gonna trim that out. Use that as my template. Okay. Let's see how that'll look. I think I kind of like that. I think I might like that. Don't want to overthink it. Let's go with it. I should have used my silicone mat there, but that's okay. Just gonna put that there. Liz from Etsy, she cuts them and mails them. That's awesome. I'm glad that there's people that do that, because not everybody owns a cutting machine or doesn't want to own a cutting machine because they can be a little pricey. Maybe you don't have spot for one. Maybe you just don't want to deal with it. So having that already done for you is amazing. All right, so I'm just finishing up the little details on this cut file. So I'm I'm filling in these spots here. Then I'm trying to decide if I want to have something right here in the middle, because that's a lot of white space there. So let's see. We'll see what we come up with. That one's gonna go there. Why not? Why not? All right. Also, I have a live stream where, oh, actually maybe next week's live stream is not my Disney. I think next week's live stream is making a mini album, a little mini album. I've been wanting to use my Valentine's stash, which I don't have a ton of, and to make a cute little mini album about love, the things that I love, the people that I love, the stuff that I love. So I think that's next Wednesday. I think that's what's on the agenda. Okay, get some of that off there. All right, so now we've got this here. And I think that's where I'll bring back this orange pattern paper. And I do have the little cutoffs from that too, right here on my mat. This is why I keep stuff on my mat, because you just never know. I have literally thrown my little pieces in the trash and I needed them. And guess what? What happens? Right? I have to dig in the trash for them. And I'm like, you should have just kept it. You should have just kept it out on the mat, and you wouldn't have had that problem, Victoria. Okay, we're going to continue on with this orange. So, those of you who enjoy reading, do you scrapbook about your reading adventures? I scrapbook about reading a lot, hence today's project. I scrapbook about reading a lot. I know some people actually make scrapbooks about the books that they read, kind of like a list, or just kind of documenting what they've read that year. Thanks, Paige. I'm having fun with all these patterns. I love documenting about reading, about my puzzles. I love to do puzzles, about the other crafts that I enjoy doing, the food that I eat. I am a person who will scrapbook about their food. I have no shame in my game. I love scrapbooking about food. Will that fit in there? Yeah, that's the same. I love scrapbooking about food. But yeah, let me know. You note it in your planner. Cool. Whether you make full pages, mini albums, you note it in your planner, you put it in your Bojo, bullet journal. I usually keep track of what I'm reading on Goodreads. That's where I set my reading goal and that type of thing. But, you know, if I really want to kind of highlight some of the books that I've enjoyed through the years, or through the year rather, I will scrapbook about it. Okay. Trying to keep my area tidy as I go along. more glue. Glue, glue, glue. Yeah, let me know if you scrapbook about your reading adventures. I like to scrapbook about the new bookstores that we go to when we travel. That's always fun. Let's see. I think I want, I thought I want something here. Maybe? I don't think I have the cutoff for that one. I think I may have tossed that. Let's see, do I have it hanging around anywhere? No, of course you don't, Victoria. I thought about putting something here. I feel like there needs to be something here. But I don't want to pull it up. Ooh. Okay, let me think for a second. I'll come back to that. Okay, I don't want to think that hard. I don't want to think that hard. That sounds really lazy. I don't want to think that hard. All right, let me put my plastic back on. Oh, I love all the papers. I love it, love it, love it. Now, typically for cut files, I like to pop them up on foam. And this one, I think I'm going to do that, but I also have these letters to contend with, and I'm not going to pop those up on foam either. I thought about just putting this here on the background and then just popping up the photos, and that'll bring in some dimension. Putting that in the middle of that was kind of mute, but that's okay. Although that would make it seem as though it's floating. Those letters are floating. I think I'm just going to go ahead and adhere it flat to the background. Oh, we got to put the coffee in there. So let me grab something that'll work for that. Okay, so I have two options. Now, we can either go for how my coffee really looks after I put creamer in it, or before I put creamer in it. I think I'm going to go with this lighter brown because that's more indicative of what my coffee looks like. I have a cup of creamer with a dash of coffee. I don't have a scrap piece of this, so I'm just going to have to cut it. I used a lot of my scraps. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to, yeah, that's more indicative of the coffee that I do drink. So, oh boy, I love my creamer. Although I don't have as much creamer as I used to. I have just a little splash these days. I could go hog wild with creamer. My favorite creamer is from Starbucks. I love it. I love their creamer so much. Created a reading journal to scrapbook about my reading. That's awesome. Let me know if anybody else scrapbooks about your reading. Any type of reading adventures. I love checking out new bookstores, and usually when we travel, we try to find a bookstore. We're going to Seattle for Thanksgiving this year, and our plan is to find all the cool indie bookstores and coffee shops. There is a YouTuber I followed at one point. Her and her friend did a lighthouse and book trip off the coast of Maine or someplace they were at. So they visited all these beautiful lighthouses and all of these old libraries. And I thought that's the perfect trip. I definitely want to do that. I'm fascinated with lighthouses. Okay, so that's going to go here. Yeah, that looks good. That looks more about what my coffee looks like in the morning. A nice light brown. It starts dark and then it ends up really brown. With all my creamer. In fact, I might have a cup when we finish this. Or maybe tea. It's later in the day, so I probably should do some tea. Okay, so I think that's about all I'm going to do for that cut file. for now. I really want something in the middle here, some pattern paper. And I might just have to I don't know, I might have to figure something out. Because I don't have the piece that goes in the center here, but there might be, say, a sticker or something that I could put there. And then I don't have a ton of space for journaling, although I could do hidden journaling and have something come out the top, but I don't have a ton to say about this. So I might just put some journaling down here that says something to the effect of starting a year, like a new year, new books, more coffee, something like that. Now, my next dilemma was whether or not I was going to pop this up on foam, but since I didn't back any of the letters, and I'm not going to try to back these individual tiny pieces with foam, I could do that, but I think the dimension's just going to come from the photo. So let's just glue this all the way straight down on the layout. And I'm just going to add some glue here, there. I'm going to take this off for a second. Some liquid glue so that the letters stay down on the page. And then we're just going to glue that flat to the background. If I were to have taken the time to back all of these letters, it would have probably taken me at least another 30 minutes to do that. Then I would have put foam on the entirety of that layout, but I want it all to be of equal height. I didn't want it to be kind of off. So we are just going to zip some glue around here and keep it moving, baby. Keep it moving. Sometimes I'm in the mood to back all the things, and sometimes I'm not. This is one of those projects where I'm like, this is a cute cut file, but I'm just going to leave those letters right on open. However, since I am gluing it straight to the background, I could do something else like color those letters in using some pencils, markers if I wanted to. But I also like the openness of those letters too. So, all right, let's put some glue all on this baby. And then we're going to glue this down, and then we're going to finish this project out for today. Later today, I'm going to be working on, I've got a Valentine card, 3 Valentine card project that's coming up this weekend here on the channel. I also have some process videos that are coming up. So this should be fun. And then if you're a patron, you've got some behind the scenes look at my planning process that's coming. We've got our playing with the sketch. I'm a little behind on my Patreon content, so if you're a patron, hang out, it's coming. If you're not a patron, consider joining us. I do exclusive content with my Patreon community, a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And then I'm trying really, really hard this year to make sure you guys get early access to my YouTube content, which is made easier by the fact that we can actually upload videos directly to Patreon now. Whereas Patreon before, we would have to use a third-party site like YouTube or something and then post the link. We can actually load videos to the site, which makes it 10 times easier for content creators to be able to share content. And we can share more and just upload those videos directly to the page. So that has helped out a lot. Okay, so now we're just going to set this down here. I will say this is one of those layouts that I'm looking at and I'm like, it's not quite popping off for me yet, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, cut files backed. Pattern papers are adorable. Okay, there we go. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. I love the openness of the letters. With when I'm doing a design like this, I don't feel compelled to do a whole bunch of embellishing because really sometimes it just doesn't need it. I realize that some of this might be covered up, and that's okay. That's just kind of the nature of the beast. I'm going to put my photos there. And I need a piece of white cardstock. So I'm going to back this photo, frame it out, and that's of the books that I read the first couple of weeks of January. Where'd my, oh, here it is. I was looking for my other trimmer. Trim that out. And then we're going to pop these up using some foam as per usual. Let's grab some scissors. And this photo here that I trimmed down to, I don't know what size this is. Let's see. I resized the photos in Photoshop. You can do the same on Canva. This is like maybe a little bit over 3 by a little bit under 3 inches. So not quite squared for that one. So maybe 2.75 inches. So this is going to go here. And that's going to go there. I kind of now, as I'm thinking about this, and it's too late now because I already glued it down, I may have switched those 2 pattern papers, but that's okay. We're moving on. It's not like, you know, we're moving on. Okay, so this is going to go here. That's going to go there. You could definitely resize this and make it a smaller cut file if you want to use a larger photo. I could also move this down here. I can move it slightly up here, which I think I might do. But I kind of like the idea of it being here. Okay. This one, like that. Commit. Moving on. Yeah, commit. Yeah, the apostrophe. No, you're right. It's on my mat somewhere. You're absolutely right. I found it. Thank you for pointing that out. It's on here. I just have to get it. I think it's that, or this. I think it's this. There we go. Sorry. Kathy, you're, yeah, exactly. Deb, you're absolutely right. Thank you for reminding me of that so that it looks nice. And correct. That's the apostrophe that goes there. And I think on the design it's somewhat like something to that effect. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to play with some embellishments. And I'm still like, I still want something there. So I'm just going to audition some stuff on here just to kind of see what it might look like. I like the little house, using some stickers here. Very cute. Lots of options. Let's look at some die cuts and whatnot. I want something in the center of here. So I'm just going to look through and see what all I have. Ooh, there's a currently reading sticker or thing. Like that. I'm just going to flow through these. I like the idea of flowers there. It's always tea time. Maybe that can go there. Ooh, books. A stack of books on top of books. That's like that's kind of like redundant, repetitive, redundant, repetitive, but redundant. Okay. So I'm gonna scoot these out the way. Those are from Pinkfresh Studio. Let's see, what else do we have here? Just real quickly going through this. Coffee. Just trying to pick something out. Here's some more books. Just relax. And then I think that the numbers are going to go there that I want to use. That's a little journal. It's a little plant. Let's go with it. Let's not overthink it. Let's just go with it. All right. I do want to see if I have another flower option. I'm going to leave this out for just a quick second. But I kind of want to see if I have another flower option. Oops. I like that. Quick decisions. Why not? Why not? Scrapping about food right now. And wine slushies. I love wine slushies. It's never too late to learn about coffee and wine, Gemma. Never too late. Wine slushies are the best. Okay, so there's that. And let's pop that up. This little coffee cup and the little coffee container. Again, I don't have to do a ton of embellishing with this because this cut file is doing a lot of the work for me. Also thought about putting that here. Currently reading. Oh my gosh, I think I like that better. See, I knew there was a solution. There's a solution to every problem. Almost. Almost, I say that. Almost. Okay. Just using some foam dots to pop up some of these things here. This is going to go here. And the fact of the matter is that, oh, Vicki, take the backing off, is that some of this is going to, some of the parts of this will be covered up. And you know what? That's quite all right. That's quite all right. Okay, so there's that. And then the little plant. There's a lot going on here. Then here. Okay. Let's see. What else we got? What else we got? Now I'm just looking for little bitty elements that'll work. About a heart there. Bring in some orange. That'll work. Actually, let's trim this down. And we'll just get a little bit of foam there. Okay, almost done with this, folks. Almost done. One of the reasons why I like working with cut files is that you don't have to do a ton of embellishing, particularly if you are using a lot of pattern paper, because that pattern paper will do a lot of that work for you. All right, that's cute. Let's see. Also, trying to see what little stickers here. There's one that says one for the books. That'd be cute there. But then I have a bunch of other O's that need to be filled in there. I don't want to start that process. That could go there. I'm going to come back to that. Let me go back to these numbers. This was a part of my Hip Kit Club kit called September Days. I want the 5 and the 0 because that represents the number of books that I plan on reading this year. And I think I'm on track to do it. Put these somewhere on here. So I'm confident that I will be able to get it done. Come on, little bit of adhesive that's in the middle of that O. Let me trim that out. Get that off. There we go. Okay. So we don't want anything else sticking that we don't need to have stick. So I'm on track to get it done for the year, which is great. So far, so good. I'm working on reading 50 books and doing 300 workouts this year. And I'm on target for that too. So that number 50 means something to me. I usually will put, I can put that there. I usually will put references like to age or year or something on my layouts by way of a number or of some sort. Okay, so here's, whoa, I want that there too. Just relax, or no? I could go there too. I think I kind of like it better there. So here's what I'm thinking about this particular layout. I don't hate it. I don't hate it, but I also don't love it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this layout away. And I'm going to put it in my album and all that good stuff. But I can't tell you what I don't like about it because I don't know yet. I just know that I'm not like 100% on it. I might redo this using different pattern paper, using something else. I'm not sure yet. But it's not hitting me yet, and that's okay. This could be one of those layouts that I just finish up and it's done and that's it. It's not that I don't like the cut file. I love the cut file. But it's just not hitting me like some other layouts that I've made recently. So what I'm going to do is just leave the way it is. Usually when I have a layout that I don't particularly care for, I won't immediately just throw it away or anything like that. There is a lot of white for sure. And I'm trying to think. I could take the time to back the letters, which I don't want to do. I don't want to color them in. I don't want to do any of that. I could just have one photo instead of two, so we can see the books more. I could select a different selection of pattern papers, although I love the pattern paper. This one is just not hitting me like I thought it would. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it to the side because I'm at that point in the creative process with this that because it doesn't look good to me, I'm not seeing all the possibilities right now, and I don't have the bandwidth to think about it. So when I'm at this stage and I've just finished a layout, I don't immediately chunk it. What I do is I set it aside and then for 24 hours. So tomorrow when I come back to this layout, all will reveal itself. Now there are some parts of this that I do like. I like the cutout in general. I like the idea of having the different elements, but this isn't my best and I don't particularly care for it that much. Not all layouts are going to hit, and that's okay. They don't all have to hit. But this one, I'm like, I don't know. I think there's a lot of white around here for sure. So it's making it look like, it's not making it look settled. I like the little embellishments. Like there's parts of this that I like. I just don't know if I like it all together as a cohesive mix. Also, I kind of like the idea of it being smaller as well. Like having a smaller cut file versus it being big. So this one is going to go in the pile. I may do it over, I may not, but it's definitely going to take a break. We're going to go ahead and put this one in timeout for 24 hours. Not everything I make live is perfect. Surprise, surprise. This layout I love to death. I love, love, love this layout. This layout, not so much. Not so much. So, but here's the thing. They're done. Now what I would do is put journaling right here. And in fact, just preemptively, because I haven't decided if I'm going to redo this one or not. It's not hidden. It's just not hidden. I'd probably do some handwritten journaling here because I don't have a ton of writing to do. So I'm just going to put some journaling lines here. Sometimes adding journaling is what solves the problem for me. I'm like, that's what I needed. I need to add journaling to it. That might not be the case for this one. All right, so I added some journaling lines, and journaling will go there. So I'm actually glad this happens because a lot of times people think whenever you do this, such as myself being a professional designer, having a YouTube channel, all of that, that everything we make is awesome, right? But the reality is that sometimes the layouts don't come out the way that we want them to come out. And this is an example of that. It's not coming out the way that I want to come out. I think if I were to redo this, I would probably put this floral pattern paper here at the bottom to give it a little bit more of a bang. Like floral, gingham, floral, instead of gingham, floral, gingham, because it's not having the pop that I thought it would have. Might leave the cup the way that it is because that's actually kind of cute. And then maybe I'd take the time to back the letters, maybe. But I don't know. I'm still like really liking the letters the way that they are. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But for now, look what I'm going to do, guys. Look what I'm going to do. Out comes the album. This is the album about me. These are layouts all about me. This is my new one. My other one's filled up. So we're just going to stick this one in there. This is the one I do like. Using the Cut Shoppe. Nothing wrong with the Cut Shoppe cut file. It's an adorable cut file. It's absolutely adorable. But this one, we're just going to stick right in the album and we're just going to let that marinate for 24 hours. And then we'll see how we feel about it. So if you ever get stuck and you're not sure, don't hee-haw about it. Just put it away. Put it away for now. Come back to it at a different point. And sometimes you may find that you want to do it over. Or you may say, I know what I'm going to do. And then you do the thing. Right? So don't be afraid to just like come back to it later. It's okay. It's not my best. It's okay though. But we're moving on. We're moving on. So there's that. There's that. I'm going to work it out. And you know what? If I don't, then you won't see this layout again. Maybe I end up trashing it. I don't know. Yeah, Melissa, I think so too. I think I need to back the letters. I think maybe it's just a little bit too stark. Switch up the pattern papers, back the letters to make it a little bit more cohesive. But I really like the idea of having them open. But yeah, I might have to. Too many muted colors, says Regina. Could be. We need at least some color that's going to pop. You know, this particular cut file didn't have the... it does have the center of the letters, but they're solid. They're solid. So it wouldn't be like a smaller O. It's a big solid circle. Yeah. Deb says, I agree. Good idea to set it aside, come back to later. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Suze, I think so too. One photo would make this work. I think if we were to take off the second photo or whatever, this is on here now. One of these photos, I think only having one photo and then seeing the rest of the cut file, I think maybe two is too many. Or I could have made this smaller, right? And then I could have offset 2 photos or something. I don't know. But it's just not coming together. It's not coming together, folks. Sometimes you have to go through the process to determine that, because otherwise you don't know. This is also another reason why, I say don't hee-haw on your, meaning don't hee-haw. That's a technical term. Don't be afraid to go through the process. Go through it. Go through the pain point of the process, because if you don't, then you don't come out on the other end knowing where you need to go next. Yeah, I like the open letters too. Can use some spray, some enamel dots, yeah. Embellishments in the center of the O's, that would look cute too. Yeah. But you got to go through the process, because otherwise, if I didn't go through the process, I wouldn't have come out to determine that ultimately I don't really like the way this is. I'm going to figure that out. I'll figure that out. I really like this cut file, so I might go back to the drawing board with this one. But again, I'm not making any decisions today about it. I'm just going to let it sit. I probably wouldn't put a picture in the white space of the books because they are kind of narrow. But depending on the style of the cut file, I have backed the cut file with photos before. Like, you could put photos in the little circles because that's something that you could probably see a little bit better. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just not coming out great. But you know what? There used to be a time where I would be like, oh my God, I'm a horrible scrapbooker because I can't get it right. With time came wisdom. And I know that when I'm working on the layout, it's like, nah, it's okay. And I'll put it in my album. And I come back to it later. I'm like, ooh, that's kind of nice. This is not going to be that one. This is going to be the one I'm like, this one, yeah, I don't know. This one might get scrapped, but we'll see. We're going to let it hang out for a little bit. Yeah. Love the cut file. Thanks for showing us. Absolutely. That's the fun part of learning what works. Exactly. And also too, I think it's important that as a designer, I show you when I struggle, that I show you when something doesn't work out at all, because it doesn't always work out. What you see in a nice recorded video may have been 3 or 4 versions of that same project before you saw the finishing thing. This time you saw version number 1, and version number 1's kind of a hot mess. So we'll see if there's going to be a version number 2. Belinda says, will you show us what you end up with? Yes, I will. If I decide to redo this one, I will show you what I end up with. I'll probably post it on my Instagram or my Facebook and my blog. So this actually might be a little newsletter topic that I put in my weekly newsletter. So anyway, we're going to let that marinate. We'll let it marinate. Go to sleep, little layout. I'll be back tomorrow. No big deal. We move on. But I'm glad that you guys see that process. I too struggle. I struggle too. It is what it is. It is what it is. So, if I redo that project, then I will definitely share it with you for sure. And definitely leave your ideas or whatever in the chat, in the comment section of this live, and let me know what you think. This is why I like doing these lives, because we can bounce ideas off of each other. And let me know in the chat if you've definitely been there before, working on a layout and it's just not. Do you continue to work on the layout? Do you throw it away and start over? Do you let it, what do you do when a layout doesn't come out the way that you want it to? Nice to see that even the best make something they're not happy with. You know what, Diane? Thank you for saying the best. You're so sweet. I think it is important for creatives to show that part of the creative process, because whether it's scrapbooking or some type of other form of whatnot, can be many versions of a project that don't make it to the surface. And so I think it's important to show that part of the creative process, because it doesn't always. And also too, this was my first layout of the day. My first layouts usually aren't my best layouts at all. It's like I have to kind of warm up. All right, so that's the lesson today. The lesson is to continue on with the process and decide if you're going to carry on or if you're just going to let it go. It's okay either way. So there you go. Thank you for joining me on this journey to this afternoon, this morning, this evening, whatever it is. If I decide to redo that layout, I will definitely share. Millie says, if I'm not finished, I walk away, come back another time. If it's done, I don't mind redoing it. Yeah. I don't do that with all, though. Yeah, it happens a lot. Leave it for a day or two, then I usually figure out something. Sometimes goes in the bin. Yeah, sometimes it does. Barb says, I just did that during the crop, the Saturday, or sat on one overnight, realized the next morning that a redo was warranted. Ended up really happy with the revised one. Absolutely. I don't go around like redoing all the layouts that I don't feel look great. Like some of them are like, okay, this is fine. And then I put them in the album and that's okay. But every now and then it's like, I'm gonna have to redo that one because she be a hot mess. And that's okay. All right, so next week, I'm going to be working on one of my whips. Of course, I did a pre-recorded video about my scrapbooking whips or work in progress projects. I have 2 that I'm focusing on as I'm teaching my Project Done class that starts on February 1st. But there's some others that I'm like really trying to kind of get some leeway on and get finished. And I'll be sharing one of those projects with you next week, I believe. No, not my whip. Next week is my Valentine mini. So if you want to stay tuned for that, I'm going to be using stash from my little stash of Valentine stuff to make a Valentine mini about the things that I love. So if you like doing Valentine stuff or at least you thought about it and you need an idea for a project, why not make a little mini album about the things that you love? And then the week after that, I believe I have a whip that I'm going to be working on, work in progress. So come back, join me every Wednesday at 2:00 p.m. Central Standard Time here on the Victoria Marie YouTube channel. Thanks for hanging out with me today as I flubbed on a layout. It is what it is. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. That way you know each and every time I go live here on Wednesdays. And then, of course, to check out the recorded content. By the way, bringing card content to the channel. I brought that last week. So if you haven't seen that card video, there's a new one coming out this weekend and some more stuff too. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for your support. And yeah, keep crafting, keep working through the process. Even when your layout looks like garbage, keep working through the process. I'll see you guys next week with a brand new project. Bye, everybody.